Adam Post, creator of College of the Dead, publisher of over more than 1,000 comics. Excited to be here tonight, though, with the man Sweens from Oddity. How you doing, Sweens?
Pretty good, Adam.
Awesome.
Really excited to be here, man. Thanks a lot.
Me too. I've been wanting to talk to you about Oddity. I've seen Oddity around for months.
Uh-huh.
The campaign is going great. It's 314% funded, which is very, very good. You even started with a flexible goal, which sometimes is a little harder to do
Yeah.
because people aren't sure, if it doesn't get funded, what's going to happen. But you exceeded your goal 2-3 times over. You're good to go. It's your first campaign.
Yeah. This is my
Wow.
first campaign I've ever done, and now I'm just very thankful that people latched onto this project and seem to be pretty excited about it, and it's exceeded anything I thought I would ever do with comics.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what I always like to ask people,
Mhm.
especially because so many people's first comics project. So it seemed to just be so damn good. So is this your first project in comics?
Um, well, I've always drawn comics. Um, I'm not giving you an echo or anything, am I?
No, no, you sound great.
Cool. All
If
right.
there's an echo, it's always me. It's never the other guy.
No, I don't know what happened to my headphones. My son took them or something, and so I'm doing it through the computer speakers.
Okay, yeah, no, you sound perfect, man.
It was fine. All right, cool. Well, I started drawing comics when it was the first comics I drew were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was like 5. It was huge when I was a kid, and you know, I would I would draw these characters in kindergarten, and I was okay at drawing them. Nothing, I didn't really stand out too much. But then my dad would draw them for me, and I'd watch him draw them, and he's pretty artistically talented, and I just watched him draw, and then I would repeat it, and then it just kind of got better and better.
Oh, so your dad was an artist too.
Well, he was more of a draftsman more than anything. He was just a very mechanical, um, visually drawing things. He would build things and he'd always sketch them out, and I'd watch him do that. But yeah, there has been some artists throughout my family and stuff, so it wasn't too big of a surprise. But yeah, I would just sit there
Highbrow man. What does he want from me?
coming in here to harass people.
Freaking Carl. You got to love that Death Sworn guy. Death Sworn.
Yeah.
Death Worn, as I tweeted out the other day, and then we
Oh,
had sweater jokes and stuff like that. He's good people. He's good
yeah,
people.
I love talking with Carl.
Mm.
But yeah, so I would just watch him draw, and then I kind of all of a sudden started drawing pretty well for a kid, and like kids at school would ask me to draw Ninja Turtles, and it just that's where my love first started was you know just drawing, and people gravitating towards some of my talents, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles were fascinating
yeah,
because it was the only thing that I can remember because I was not a how old was I? I don't know. I was I was born 1970. I'm 49
yeah.
now. So
Hmm.
Turtles came out, in the 80s,
Hmm.
and it was a hit in comics. And the first licensed Turtle product, I don't know if you know this or not, was a role playing game by this company, Palladium Games. It
Oh,
was a hit. It was yeah, it was this hit, and they're a small publisher,
hmm.
but it was a hit game. Actually, I don't know if that's true. Actually, I think that might have been it, or if not it, there. The guys who published my GI Jackrabbits comic got the license to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles training manuals,
Hmm.
and they were comics that were and how to draw Ninja Turtles,
Yeah,
Solson comics. But anyway, yeah, but it was a hit anywhere it went. It was a hit, hit, hit. Wow,
yeah,
see the lights,
yep.
hit, hit, hit. Um, I don't know why it's been doing the last couple of days. It's just trying to adjust or something like that. But it's kind of funny. I can't make that happen. It just has to happen when the time is right. It's the ghosts. It's the ghosts.
The aliens are coming.
The odd things coming out for oddity. But you were saying you're really into Ninja Turtles. That
Yeah,
really got you
and then,
drawing.
on top of that, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio,
Hmm.
and, my dad worked for Kenner. He was actually a mechanical engineer for, the Nerf line, and
Wow.
he would take me down. This was during the '80s. He took me down, and um, at that time, they were just starting to send work over to China for production or manufacturing, but they also had a building down there, and I'd go down there, and I got to just go through with a grocery cart and pick out all these like all the reject toys from them and stuff, and
Oh, that's so cool. You went down to so your dad worked for a toy company,
yeah,
and you actually got to go to a toy factory or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly, and
That's amazing.
I got to see all the sculptors, behind the scenes stuff of, all these toys that Kenner was, producing during the '80s. I got to see all their art and stuff, and that all really resonated with me.
Were they doing superheroes back then? Did they have DC back
They had
then?
DC, yep. They had
Wow,
Yeah, it was a really cool time, and,
that's really neat.
yeah, so that kind of, launched me into really, getting interested in art and creating and
Mm.
even sculpting and stuff like that at home, but I always really gravitated towards comic books and the art in comic books, and, when I was a little older, then there was the giant Image boom where, Image was the top thing, and, I still have drawings from when I was a little kid, and it's like, Rob Liefeld table covers, like, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would draw and, the chests are huge and women are all out everything was out of
Mm.
proportion, but, yeah, that's kind of, where I started, and Spawn when I got a little older, and then, and then I just stuck with it, and it was always a hobby, though, and, but I always kept at it and drawing and stuff, and, um, then I went to college when I was about 20 for, for illustration, and, nothing was, like, going anywhere in my life, and finally, I just like, "You know what? I'm gonna just give it a shot with college," which isn't always not always the best idea, but,
No,
yeah,
it's you just have especially when you're in college, the whole thing is like just trying different things and seeing
exactly.
what works and what opportunities you have, and also networking.
Yeah, very true, and I met some really cool people from my
Mm.
school and stuff, and extremely talented people as well. But yeah, it really took me off the path of comics while I was there. I uh, I got more into oil paintings and more like hardcore illustration, like with even though Frazetta did do comic books and stuff like that, but his giant uh, posters, movie poster type art and album art and stuff like that. I really got into that type of illustration, and for my the years I went to school there, I was more into the fine art side of illustration and stuff. And then my senior year, I somehow fell into this comic book class, and
So senior year high school or college?
senior year of college, yeah.
Ah,
And
okay.
I had this great instructor, and it kind of really, sparked the interest of comics again.
Isn't
And
that amazing? Like how that one
yeah,
teacher in your life,
uh-huh,
like I had a sixth grade teacher. See, it's got to be
yep,
true. Lights are going. I had this one sixth grade teacher, and yeah, like they really care. They give you like this different outlook, and
mhm,
are like, they see potential in you or something like that, and they just
yeah,
kind of set you in another whole direction.
exactly, and,
Oh, interesting.
that's kinda how that went, and a lot of the other teachers were telling us, "Stay away from comics, there's no money in it," or anything like that, and, I mean, it's true to a degree. I mean, back then, there wasn't so much crowdfunding or anything like that, and, people weren't making great money unless you're,
It was hard to break in with the early and mid '90s. It's still hard to break in. There were
oh,
people making money, but was hard. It was always been hard to break in, really.
yeah, and, so I got back into comics my senior year, and then, after college, I went off and worked at a special effects place here in Columbus. I was mostly sculpting and stuff like that, but we did giant animatronic monsters and stuff like that, and,
Do you have any pictures from back in the day of stuff you
um,
worked
not on me right now, but
on? No, no, not right now. I'm just saying, but
I'll
if you
pull
have it, like,
Oh
I
yeah.
think people would like to see that on Twitter. I'm learning a lot about you tonight, and it's
Oh
actually
yeah.
very, very interesting.
You get me going, man, and I'll just
Yeah, well,
give
it's
you
really, really interesting stuff.
yeah. Well, so I'm glad someone finds it interesting, but
Yeah, look, that you worked on anima. What are you? You worked on animatronic monsters.
yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. None of us have gotten to do that, or
yeah,
well, not most of us.
it was crazy. Yeah, we
That's awesome.
giant monsters and stuff, and actually, we had a lot of the original sculpts um, and different animatronics from Jurassic Park, which was
Wow.
pretty crazy. That in our studio, and then we it was a real cool place to work. The boss was awful though. He was just a yeah,
Mm.
he was just a real
That happens. We all deal with
well,
that.
yeah. Yep. So, yeah, I worked there for a while, and I just continued to draw like my own character on the side, and yeah, like when I started Oddity, that character came from high school. Like that was like
Wow.
high school drawing that I just added on to over the years, and I created the characters. I grew up and stuff, but
Mm.
yeah. So after I worked at this company for a while, and then finally, I left there and got a job doing 3D modeling for another company up here in Columbus. And now I've worked on all sorts of licenses uh, anything in Marvel. We've done some DC. We've done a ton of anime. So many anime.
So, so you do 3D modeling
Yeah,
now?
that's my day job. My 9 to 5 is yeah. I do digital
Interesting.
sculpting. Yeah,
What's the function of 3D modeling? What's the application for it?
okay, so, now it used to be everyone traditionally sculpted, and then you'd make a mold of that, and then, do the whole process. Nowadays, you can digitally sculpt it, and then, um, we have a 3D printer and stuff, so then I 3D print our models out, and
Mm.
use those as a prototype and, um, for sizing and all sorts of issues like that. And then what what we do then is once the model's where we need it, and it's been approved by the licensors and stuff. That's where working with anime is a huge pain because in Japan they are some of the most difficult licensors to work with. They just want everything absolutely perfect.
It's super meticulous.
Yes, like it gets pretty rough. But like and then we did a lot with Borderlands this year and they were a lot more lenient and stuff. We've done work with Ghostbusters. They're very lenient, but yeah, the Japanese, they don't mess around. They want their IPs to, be very cohesive and everything look dead on. And I understand that, but it also gets very irritating at times.
Yeah, or you got to make changes or do things
Uh-huh.
that are just like, well, why can't we just? It doesn't do what you want it to
Yeah.
do, or the limitations of the medium or whatever.
Yeah.
But do you work from up? This is also my ghosts are back. Do you do work from like a 2D drawing and then it makes it 3D like with software,
Nope.
or do you,
I my program, I actually it's all 3D. You sculpt in 3 dimensions.
okay, you
Right.
sculpt in 3 dimensions on screen?
Yeah, and it goes
So
by
cool.
so fast sculpting like that that there's honestly there's no need to do a 2D turnaround of it because that kind of slows it all down. Like you if they give you 2D turnarounds of a character, you can
Mm.
basically plaster up in the background of the application, and you can drop the opacity on your model, and then you can sculpt basically tracing off those turnarounds. So that I mean, it can help like that, but for the most part, we just go right in and
Straight into the 3D.
yeah. So
Very interesting.
once all that stuff's good to go, then we send it over to, China to our vendors, and it's always hard to say, but, yeah, we send it over to China, and they screw it up about 100 times until finally they give in and do it right, and then, after a year or 6 months of working on it. Then maybe then it goes out on the shelves. So it's,
Takes a little while.
yeah, it
Um,
definitely is a process.
Interesting. And everything still goes to China now, even with all the tariffs and everything?
Yep.
Still going to China. Okay.
Mhm.
It's not going anywhere.
No, not yet.
Interesting. So how did you get now? So that's what you're up to nowadays, obviously, and you've been working with this Froggy Oddity guy
Mhm.
forever.
Yeah,
Like
for since
maybe
late '90s. Yeah.
wow, since the late 90s. So how did you first start doing comics? Like so
Okay. Yeah.
you're the
Sorry, I put off the
no,
trail.
no, not at all. You're the creator of Oddity and also the artist.
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
work with your other buddy who's the writer.
Yeah. Indie Comic
Okay.
Dave. Yeah,
Very cool.
he does all the writing, and yeah, it was quite the experience. Like, usually it's a writer and they have a story and then they find an artist and all that. And um, to get back to where I started with comics,
Yeah.
while while I was working these jobs, I would post some of my work up on like digital webbing, I believe it was, which is like an online forum
Sure.
for comic art and stuff. And some guys picked me up to do some small projects and stuff. And I'd do like 5 or 6 pages, and then you know they'd run out of money or something. There's always something that would happen, and
Sure.
nothing ever really got solid legs underneath it and took off anywhere. So finally, I was just like, you know what? If I'm going to do something, I want to do my own thing. So back in like 2015, I think I started like the first run of Oddity, and I posted some of the original art up on Twitter, but it was it wasn't bad, but my art wasn't there yet. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't, not even that it wasn't there, because it probably still could have been used, in pretty professional, but it wasn't like my voice, like my
Mhm.
style wasn't it wasn't developed yet.
Yeah, that evolves over time
Yes.
sometimes.
Exactly.
You
And
get into your groove and you do things a certain way.
yeah.
I mean, your character's stylized too, so
Yeah, and
there are a lot of moving parts.
mhm, and it just wasn't there yet. I did, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages fully colored and stuff, and it wasn't, I just wasn't confident in it, and,
So then, so then you kind of started just working on it, more and more, or did you put it down for a little while?
I put it down for a while, and I started watching more tutorials online on YouTube on coloring and different techniques for coloring, different inking techniques, and how to render things out, and when to use giant black spots, spot inks, and it just some of the workaround of an image. And I just worked at it every night. I would come home from work and do the thing with the family, and then I'd sit down and, late at night, most people watch TV or read or something like that. I would sit down and watch tutorials and work on creating this thing. And I never did it thinking like, oh, one day I'll make money from it or anything like that. I just did it because I really, really enjoy.
It's what you wanted to work
Yeah,
on, yeah.
yeah, and a lot of my friends back home in Cincinnati, I'm now based at Columbus, but I still have tons of friends back home in Cincinnati. They all knew I was in art. They knew I went to school for art, and they just figured I did graphic design and stuff like that, and that was it. I never really told them that I was working on a comic or anything like that. And then once this came up, they're all like, "What the heck is this?" Like, where did this?
This is what you've been doing at night.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, and I'm a firm believer in, like, not telling people your plans, like, saying, "I'm gonna go do this," or "I'm gonna go do that," like,
Just do it. Just be
just
one of those guys that just
do
does
it.
it, right?
Just do it, and then once it's done, then you can go off and show people and be like, "This is what I did," and I think when you tell people stuff, like your plans, I think it kinda takes a lot of the energy out of it, because one of the things that propels you is knowing that, you know I'm going to do this, and then people are going to see it and be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you did that." But you're already kind of taking that energy away when you tell someone before you even did it,
Yeah,
because
it's like a cop out. It's like because
yeah,
people are going to give you feedback. You're going to talk about it. Oh, that might be cool. You kind
mhm,
of have the benefit of doing it without even doing it, but you don't have all the benefit. It's
yeah,
like fast food,
exactly. It is. It's instant gratification, and
junk food, junk food.
yeah, and in most cases, that's not the best way or the best thing
It's
for
not disciplined.
yeah. But so while I was going over tutorials, I came across uh, comic artist Pro Secrets, and
Yeah,
yeah, and I saw some of his uh, inking tutorials and stuff, and so I subscribed to his channel, and I would pop in every once in a while and see what was going on, and then like one day I clicked on it, and it was this whole ComicsGate thing was attached to it,
yeah.
attached to and this was before Ethan was, like, really in it, and he was just talking about this community and talking about Zach and all that, and I started watching Zach's videos, and I was seeing all these guys with the same passion as me creating comics and doing pretty well off of it, and I was like, "You know what? Why not? Like, why not just give it a shot?" So, from that point on, I really put my nose to the grindstone and focused on this book and the art and the style of it, the colors, and I just started creating one day. Like I just started doing it, and then I would post it up on Twitter, and I'd get a few likes here and there, and then maybe pick up a follower every couple of days or something like that. And I just stuck with it, and then it slowly got legs underneath it, and people started getting kind of excited about it. And so I did that for about a year until I really announced that I was going to launch it. And
And you don't have a big YouTube presence. This is mostly
no,
on Twitter. Twitter,
yeah,
you were doing this, right?
it's all Twitter. Now, Indie Comics Dave, he does a lot of YouTube. Uh,
Hmm.
I post some of my time lapse videos and stuff on YouTube. Um, I'll do a video every once in a great while and put it up there. But, I absolutely hate being on camera. I
Oh, really?
yeah, I really do not enjoy it, but,
All right.
yeah, and then, the only time I am comfortable is, like, if I had a few drinks, and then I just make a
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember you drunk once or so, or not drunk maybe, but drink.
I was
All right.
pretty lit that that night.
You were feeling good. You were
Oh,
feeling good. And you were funny.
yeah, yeah, everyone thinks I'm funny when I'm drunk, and I hate it. Like, I wake up the next day, I'm like, "Did I just do that last night on Ethan's stream?"
Yeah, well, that's great. You can go back and look at the live stream and see what you actually did.
It just cringed the whole time watching it, but
So
yeah.
you feel you really got more involved and got more inspired interacting with people on Twitter, sharing your work,
Mhm.
um, and interacting with the other ComicsGate guys, whatnot. So I mean, I think YouTube is great for getting people to be aware of it because there's so many more people that
Yeah.
see Ethan's YouTube videos talking about ComicsGate and some of the ComicsGate YouTube shows.
Mhm.
But it's interesting because you meet like a lot of people on Twitter and interact with them
Yeah.
sometimes a few times a day, and then you become you discover a lot of people and a lot of projects on Twitter that you really couldn't discover on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like as far as Ethan's project, he's got a huge following. He's
Mhm.
somebody everybody talks about. Does he have to be on Twitter for his own project? Probably not.
Yeah.
He was actually talking about that earlier today. But does he have to be on Twitter if he wants Comicsgate to grow and he wants to inspire? He inspired me too. He
Yeah.
inspired you. He inspired kind of like all of us that are doing this. So to
Exactly.
continue to do that, we'll get it from the YouTube, but in terms of cultivating
Yeah.
all these interactions and us supporting each
Mhm.
other. You've been supportive of me. You're always helping to promote my
Yeah.
project, College of the
Yeah.
Dead.
Mhm.
And me, same with you, but also us, same with many other guys. And it does seem like Twitter is like where it's at for us to do all
Yeah.
that stuff. Oh,
For
Indie Comics Dave.
what's that?
There's Indie Comics Dave in here too.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Indie Comics Dave. Good to see you, brother. He's the writer of Oddity.
Yeah.
Um,
Great guy.
So yeah, I definitely see him around a lot, and every now and then he's saying something clever, and he's got like your character's frog face there,
Yeah,
so it's kind of
for the
fun.
longest time,
So
people
it
thought,
seems like Oddity is saying it, so whatever he
yeah,
says, he has to represent Oddity.
for the
Um,
longest time, people thought we were the same person.
yeah,
But
I'm still
yeah,
not sure that you guys are not the same person.
we're
Uh,
not.
we'll do a reveal show after the campaign ends. Um, all right, so we know that you got drunk on Ethan's stream,
Yep.
and we know about the modeling. We talked about the rendering. So you decide you're going to do your own comic. You follow the ComicsGate kind of gang, and you just finally decided, all right, people know what it is. Everyone keeps asking you, hey, when's this coming out, right?
Yeah, and
And
well,
eventually you're like, well, if they're asking for it to come out,
yeah.
that's kind of a hint, like I
And
got to launch this
also, like, I wanted to wait until I had the book entirely finished before I
thing.
launched, and and people kept getting on me. They're like, "Just launch it!" Like, I mean, from all sides, everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Just launch it!" Like, you know, people are already behind you. Um, and also, what really propelled me to decide to do it was uh, Kino Subway. Chris Evans, I believe his name is. He,
Yeah. Great.
yeah, he's awesome. He promotes all the books, and he tagged Ethan in one of my pieces, and was like, "You should really let Swains use Cyberfrog in a variant cover." And he responded, and he was like, "Absolutely, like, it's a great
Mm.
character, I think that would be great." And I was like, "What the heck?" Like, I can't believe he
Yeah, a lot of great stuff comes
Yeah,
from the supporters and the people that love ComicsGate and love independent comics.
mhm,
And I had heard that story. I love that story. And now that cover is being drawn. You guys are going to collaborate on a
yeah,
cover. Is that right, or is he
yeah,
doing it?
yeah, I sent him a DM, like, it's a shot in the dark. I was like, "I don't know if he's gonna answer or not." Like, maybe he just said it in jest, just, like, threw it out there, whatever. But I
Sure.
sent him a DM, and I was like, "Are you sure it's okay I use your character?" And he was like he responded, which I was really surprised because
Mm.
he gets bombarded. I can't imagine
Yeah,
he's
yeah. You can't
struggle.
even begin to
Yeah,
imagine.
and he responded like, "Absolutely." He's like, "It's a great character," and he's like, "But why don't I draw my character and you draw yours?" And I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like,
Mm.
it was, yeah, it really,
It
really,
does make the most sense if you think about it, actually. And then he knows it's correct, and he's able to contribute to it. That's very, very cool.
yeah, it was very, very cool. And
But so if not for Twitter, that couldn't have really
no,
happened.
that wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no way. There's no way that would have
Yeah,
happened.
there's a lot of cross pollination that's going on, and I see so
Mhm,
many great people doing so many projects so diligently. And
mhm,
I, as a publisher, like I published my first book like freaking 30 years ago,
yeah,
and and then I published more, and then as time went on, you get exposed to a lot of artists, a
yeah,
lot of creators, a lot of projects, a lot
mhm,
of companies. I mean, a lot from the
yeah,
from the lowest end new amateurs to the highest end Jim Shooter, Adam Hughes guys who I've done work
yeah,
with, both of, and what I've noticed though is there's so many like passion projects doing these interviews with Comicsgate tonight on my channel, which everybody should subscribe to, by the way, and click the bell for notifications.
yeah,
But I've had so many interviews, like so many people are like, "Well, I've been working on this idea for 10 years,
mhm,
working on this idea for 20 years," and
yeah,
like you get that with Comicsgate projects where it's like, "Well, this is your passion project. You've thought about the project for years." And it's almost like a great band's first album.
yeah,
That they've been working on it for like 10 years or whatever,
yeah,
and then they put out a great album, and then it's like, all right, give us another album. It's very hard to do.
yeah. And then
Um,
then your sophomore album, which usually isn't your best work, and you know, yeah, you do see that a lot in Comicsgate, and like the way Dave and I planned this book out was uh, we've got it set up for 3 books. So the first book uh, would basically put you right in the middle of the world, kind of get you an idea of everything that's going on. Um, the characters in the world, kind of the circumstances that are coming about. Um, there, I mean, there's definitely things going on with the origin of the character, but until book two, that's when the origin really comes out. And
All
we,
right, that's where I gotta interrupt you because I just realized I was supposed to ask you a question. I didn't ask you.
okay,
So, yeah, because I try to keep it structured
uh-huh,
enough that I cover everything with you.
for sure.
So, roughly speaking, what's Oddity about?
Okay. Well, Oddity is about basically a delinquent little punk kid, teenager, probably not a little kid, but a older teenager who really doesn't have much going on in his life. He doesn't have any real direction. Kind of a screw up. Well, not kind of, just a real screw up. And
Okay.
he gets basically chosen by this mystical swamp that he has to become the guardian of it. And this swamp once had the power to heal, and it had some, like cryptids running through it and stuff, but it was under control. It gets polluted, contaminated, so through basically botched science and magic, this character becomes Oddity, becomes the guardian of the swamp, and he doesn't wanna do it. Like, he's not about it. The fly right here is, kind of his Jiminy Cricket. It's, his name.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and, they banter. There's a lot of bantering going on between them, and, and, Arrow's trying to point him in the right direction, like, to, take on his role as the guardian of this swamp, and while trying to teach him the ways and stuff, he, uh, he neglects one of his duties. Oddity does. He neglects his duty, and in result, a, just this giant, uh, giant problem arises, and
Okay.
he unleashes, uh, he does a lot more harm than help. And it's kind of his Uncle Ben moment where he realizes, like, if he would have taken responsibility for the then, things wouldn't be as bad as they are now. And it's when you break the story down, it's about taking on responsibility and growing up and becoming an adult minded person.
Hmm.
And but what I did was I made it insane. Like, I put a bunch of insane, like, visuals and, the
It's
character.
really dynamic. It's really dynamic.
Thank you. And, yeah, I just wanted it to be fun. Like, I wanted it to be crazy. When I was growing up, and everything was mutants, okay? And everyone became a mutant from green ooze, and
Yeah.
it was never explained exactly, like,
Yeah, it's like down to the ninja, whether it's the
yeah,
Ninja Turtles or whatever.
I always loved that. Like, I always thought that was fun, so I threw that into the book. Like, that's, a part of the book, and, yeah, so he's basically trying to, learn to grow up and take on responsibility, and we find out in this book if he does it or, if he falls short, and,
So when he gets changed, so as a teenager that gets changed into this frog guy.
mhm.
Okay. Does he ever change in the at least book one? Is it normal for him to change back, or you
Nope.
can't say? No.
No,
Okay.
he's kind of stuck in this form throughout the
Mm,
and, once we get to book 2, it's all laid out and, you'll
cool.
get more of an idea of the origins of the story,
Okay.
but,
Oh,
or
this coloring is really beautiful. I just noticed that there's a skull in the sky.
uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
just a little
cool.
foreshadowing and stuff,
Yeah.
and no, this is anti-corporation or, pro-environment type book.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's all in fun.
Well, it's really interesting colors, really dynamic art. Very interesting. Very cool. So like, so the format is 48 pages,
Hmm.
color,
Yeah,
drawn by you and written by David Sean. Oh, there's a different kind of Sean. I
yeah.
gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Sean and Sean
There's all
and
sorts
Sweet.
of yeah.
Really, really interesting. Are
Thank
there
you.
other kind of supernatural characters involved in the story, or you can't really say?
Yes, there is a like this swamp spirit that
Hmm.
chooses. He sees something within this kid, and that's what causes him to pick him as the new guardian of the swamp. And
Cool.
uh, there's all sorts of mutant creatures that arise, you know, halfway through towards the end. And the second half of this first book is just mayhem. It's just, it's
Hmm.
kind of a zombie
Oh,
outbreak with mutants, and
wow.
it gets wild. But
It's called Madness in the Oddity Madness in the Marsh.
yes,
So Madness in the Marsh is this series, or is that part of the title of the book?
that's that's basically this series. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, it's just the tag.
And and
But
you already said that things happen in book two. So do
yeah,
you foresee this to be like an ongoing series of books?
I I would like to get the three, my three campaigns, which would be the three books. Um, that's that's what's in my sights right now. But
Okay.
you know, I focus on one book at a time, and then I have the outline for the rest of the books. Dave and
Mm.
I go over it, and we've got our ideas down, and then when it comes to that book, I focus on that book, and then when it comes to that panel, I focus on the page, panel, and everything gets very dialed in.
Yeah, very disciplined. It's
Yeah,
fantastic. Well, you
like,
do so much. You already do professional work, in design and graphics and stuff like that. So you kind of know like you do have to work that way. You have to plan your work, do your work, and know what your goal is, and get it done. And you obviously do. But this one of the things that people I think like to know is that they're not just getting a one shot, unless it is a one shot. If it's a one shot, it's a one shot. But this is an ongoing character. You've been working on this character
yeah,
for whatever 20 years. There's going to be more books based on Oddity.
yeah, yep. And I was really worried about this first campaign because you you just don't you, you can hear people say a lot of great things online, and they can tell you, oh, this is awesome, and I'm definitely going to back it and all that, and it's great to hear that stuff because it helps push you and motivate you, but until you hit that launch button, like,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
don't know really where it's going to go, like,
It's
it's
very. I've been there. It's very true. And
uh-huh,
then there are times where you think like, oh, wait a minute, this is not going to be funded where I need it to get funded.
yeah,
And then if a campaign slows down, you start feeling like, all right, no one is ever going to back this
yeah,
ever again. And it's a little harrowing. But once you get through it, once you kind of realize, okay, I would do this a little differently, and here's how I would do it different. And like you probably wouldn't do a flexible goal again, I assume,
yeah. Well,
because it's just harder.
excuse me?
I think a flexible goal is harder. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I think it kind of, you know, throws people's idea of the project maybe in a different direction. Maybe they aren't as confident, and you know, but I did it at 3,000 because I did all the work, and so I didn't have to pay an artist, a colorist, all that stuff. Like, I have a writer and I have a letterer, and originally I was going to do the lettering, and I went on Malin's show, and he was just saying, he was one of the guys that pushed to just launch it. Basically, he's like, you don't have to wait till the book's entirely finished. And once
Yeah, he's big on that. He kind of tells a lot of people that, and it makes sense. And it there's reasons to wait, there's reasons to not wait,
Mhm,
but you learn so much when you launch it and you work the campaign. It's like
exactly.
if yeah, if you can, it is good to just get into it because if you delay it, it seems like, all right, I'll just delay it for a little while.
Mhm,
That could be 6 months.
exactly.
You know, yeah, it's happened to me. So it's like, all right, you don't want to overdo it, but you do want to get them out there.
Yeah, and I took a lot of notes on other people's campaigns and what seemed to work, and I talked to a bunch of guys. That's what's great about all the groups we have on in Twitter is if you got questions or anything, everyone's willing to give you a hand and help you out a bit. And
Oh yeah, we'll fight for you, man.
mm,
And we love you as Sweens, but everybody who's Comicsgate, who's in the groups, and they're like, and but the Comicsgate is just like they just want to make good books. They just
mm,
want to put good books out. They're passionate about their projects. They want to deliver for the fans. But any of us have any questions about anything, we're all available to each other. And I got guys reaching out to help me,
mhm,
multiple times a week. Guy like me needs a lot of help, but but anyway, no, we're always out there for each other, 100,
yeah,
110%.
it's really awesome. And
It's a great place to work, isn't it?
yeah, I love it. I mean,
Yeah, man, me too, man. I really look forward to it.
of course, there's a lot of drama that goes within a growing
But you
movie.
know what's really nice about that drama is I find it like as much as you want to be involved in it, you can be involved in
Yeah,
it. As little as you want, is as little as you get involved in it. Sometimes people get singled out and targeted,
yeah,
and then they get harassed, and that happened to Matt Murphy, who's a great guy who's
yeah,
doing God service. But
mhm,
mostly we don't get annoyed. But
yeah.
if you start poking at other people, they're poking at you, and you poke back, and you go back and forth, like yeah, and all of a sudden you're wrapped up in
Yeah.
drama. It's like
I've
not worth it.
had very little negative interactions, like personal interactions on Twitter. In fact,
Hmm.
maybe one out of the year and a half I've been involved with this stuff. Yeah, it just I don't really have any. I don't get attacked or anything like that, and but I also don't poke the bear. I don't really go out there.
Yeah, I try to stay away from it, and I said something very complimentary about Ethan's book, um, Cyberfrog, obviously, and because I am just continuously amazed about how people are self-publishing their own first comics, and they look so freaking good. I don't. People haven't seen as much as I've seen, and they haven't been where I've been, and even done some of the weaker books that I've done, especially early on.
Mhm.
And it's like it's a huge accomplishment. So to see people like trying to demoralize Ethan that his writing isn't 100% to everybody's liking is just absurd. So I made a positive comment on his tweet, and then someone went after me saying, "Oh, you're being, whatever, trying to be a suck up or something like that." I just either blocked them or muted them. It's like if I don't have use for somebody like that, I can't help them. They can't help me. They aren't just being cool. Block, mute,
Yeah,
boom.
it's
Don't need them.
it's pretty easy, and yeah, like you said, it's what you put in. Like if you're searching for it, you're gonna find it, like all the drama and stuff. But yeah, I just stay out of it, and you know, it, I enjoy my interactions on Twitter. I
Yeah,
always
they're fun.
interact with
Fun.
every supporter that comes my way and takes time out of their day to say something positive about my work. I want to say something positive back to them. Like,
You've been great. You've been great in the group. I know. I mean, anything I've ever seen anybody say anything about you has always been really positive. Let's hit some tiers so people know how they can get some oddity action in their lives.
okay, the the odd army tier,
Yeah,
which
that's
I just
new.
found out recently that a group of frogs is called an army. I didn't realize that.
Oh, an army of frogs.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is our featured tier, and we just posted this one up recently, and it's
Yeah.
all three covers. Um, Originally, I just had the cover with him leaping with the tongue out, and then
Hmm.
Ethan jumped on board, so that was a second cover. And then people really like the the RV up in the tree, like that image, and so we made it into a cover. I did a print
Cool.
doing a print for some of the early backers that were on the mailing list. Um, they all get that print, but we also made it into the cover of
Yeah, it's a very cool image. I remember it too.
and
It's very iconic.
yeah, it is. It's kind of fun, and yeah. So
Okay.
we made that into. into its own tier. So, and it also cuts back on, if you buy all three of those, you're not paying, 25 for each cover.
Yeah. So you got a deal so people can
Mhm.
save a little bit of cash. So it's the included items are the oddity pinup. Is that a pinup book
It's
or
a pinup.
poster?
It's well, there's too much in that image to throw that in there, but once we go farther down, you'll see the pinup of it, and then
Okay, okay.
mhm,
All right, maybe we'll come back to that even. All right, now the digital is the 48-page color comic,
mhm,
but like a PDF.
yeah, yep, and a lot of people freak out about it being pirated and stuff like that, and if you do it traditional, if it's a physical copy or not, it's going to get pirated. Like, people pirate everything.
Yeah,
Like, it's
there's a lot of digital comics now.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of almost everything I've ever published, there's digital versions
mhm,
that somebody scanned somewhere, and
exactly, and
it's it saved me some time trying to find some of this stuff. I'm like, oh, cool, somebody has some of
yeah,
this stuff already scanned. Let me just check that out, and you find it. But yeah, there are people that they're international or whatever their issue is. Someone brought this up last night. They were saying like, well, there's one or two people that bought their project that wanted to keep their name and an address a secret, so they were able
yeah,
to just put email in there for delivery. So I
yeah,
was like, oh, okay, I didn't even think of that. But so they're docs proof because they're
yeah,
digital.
it's funny though.
Yeah, like, all right, it
Yeah,
kind of makes
but I delayed that on, like, our books, uh, we're estimating to, or the ETA is in March, and for the digital, we held it back a month after.
oh,
So,
that's a good idea. So if
yeah,
you want to get it immediately, you got to get a physical book.
yeah, and,
Okay.
yeah, so that's how we did it, and then we did the double cover, so if you want you know, the
The
digital, and here's the pinup with the book below, um, where it says the book and Sween's cover. That's
okay.
pinup, that
Now is that a poster? Like a
yeah,
little poster?
yeah, that's,
Oh, okay.
that's an image that a lot of people really like too.
Yeah,
So, you know,
it's a cool image.
we did,
So how do you know how big the pinup is going to be? The poster?
there's a couple different sizes I was looking at, but probably for that, there's a 12 by 15 at my local printer that I
Hmm.
was eyeballing for that. Um, I'm pretty sure we've got the size somewhere. Oh,
Just
uh,
my 2 cents on that, and I don't have a lot of advice on that except check out the limitations for mailing
mhm,
domestic and international
yeah,
because you could just the way that luck runs. If you don't check it out, you'll have a problem. If you do check it out, you won't have a problem. Where it'd be like, well, this is a fraction of an inch too big,
uh-huh,
so now it's a whole different mailing class or
yeah,
something like that. You don't want that.
yep,
Uh, so you should check that out. But that will be a very cool pinup poster.
mhm, thank you.
Very cool. All right. The Home Sweet Home. Oh, there it is.
Mhm,
That is cool. It's hard to see. It's just kind of small,
yeah,
but
that
that's the RV in the tree.
mhm,
Does he live in there?
yeah, that's the place
Oh,
he
cool.
lives, yeah. So I don't know really where that came from. I do a lot of sketching, like, all the time, but it was just an image that I sketched out one day, and I was like, "It's entirely goofy and ridiculous,
Yeah,
but
but that's
it's
that's
fun."
where a comic book weird little
Yeah,
crazy character would live.
exactly. Like,
It's ideal.
I did get
Plus, it's in a tree too, which is cool. It's just
yeah,
very cool.
there was one comment on Twitter, though, where someone was like, "There's no way a tree could hold that RV." I'm like, "It's a comic book, man."
You want to know what? Also, like there are no frog guys that have Jiminy Cricket life
Exactly,
right. But
exactly.
beyond that, the funny thing about the real world is, all right. So I saw that this would be a great chance to put out this pull out reference for this. I don't have it handy, unfortunately, but J. Scott Campbell has just been getting more and more popular now. That
Oh, yeah.
good girl artist,
Uh-huh.
and somebody was harassing him, saying, "I can't believe you draw women like that. You do realize real women don't look like that, right?" And he messaged back something like, "Well." I used photo reference, and he had like these 4 pictures of these beautiful young women,
Uh-huh.
and they were photographs, and like, yeah, they were thin, and they did look like that. And I did some funny tweet about him representing heroic women that weren't of typical body types, and that was great that he was doing that. This, but it's fun.
Yeah, it
But
is.
anyway, you never. Who knows? You know, somewhere in the world there probably is an RV in a tree. Now,
Yeah,
could he jump in and out of it and it would stay stationary? I don't know, but there is magic involved. So,
of course.
right? We have magic.
Yeah, like it's
I
goofy.
like this,
Like,
dude. I like this graphic you made. Of this of the human sunbeam cover. Ethan, of course, is known as the human sunbeam.
yeah, I when I when I did that, I was like, this is either going like get me a bunch of buyers or it's going to tank it. Like I didn't know.
I mean, it's just it's cute.
It's
Um,
so ridiculous.
yeah. But the thing is to not do something like that with a sense of humor when you can, especially because
Yeah,
he had such a sense of humor.
yeah.
Uh, would have been a missed opportunity.
What
Very
was
cool you did that.
funny was he did like a spotlight one day on my book, and he was going through, and he like goes over the stuff, and he just reads it off. It like he didn't even like skip a beat, dude. He just looked at it and like just continued. Like it did.
Oh, that's funny.
It
He's seen a
did
lot of crazy stuff.
yeah, it
He's
didn't
seen a lot of crazy stuff.
surprise me at all. And then I actually got some messages on Twitter of people asking if they could actually get this as the cover.
Oh, that's a good idea. How about that as a stretch goal or something?
Oh, I could probably do that. It's
Ethan Van Sciver and Sween's jam cover. If you made this like the only problem is like using him and the son and like Ethan Van Sciver and
yeah.
mm, I mean
I'm
maybe postcards or trading cards for everybody. People seem to like trading cards as stretch goals.
people love trading cards. That would be our if we hit 15K on this, we'd definitely do trading cards.
Do you have a stretch goal on this
Um,
listed
oh yeah, we post them up on our
on
update.
Twitter?
We
Okay. Oh, okay.
put them on Twitter to push them and stuff, and um,
You know what? Just because it doesn't cost anything, a lot of people do that. Probably a good idea just to list them here too,
yeah,
just so it's easy to see. And like some people are able to. I don't know how to manipulate the fonts necessarily, but to have the number big and it says stretch goal, like you
exactly.
know, just so it's easy when they see it at a glance. I don't know. Not like it's going to generate revenue or not. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
it's
just helps push it all and
mhm,
keeps it all in the same place, common format. So now you also have both covers for $50, which is a damn good deal.
yeah, and yeah,
It's very cool.
I had to charge more for the Ethan cover because I mean we haven't talked about money or anything, like what I owe him, and I definitely have to pay him something. So I'm going, you know,
Yeah,
it only makes sense
yeah,
in this
it
this
does.
business, and
Yeah, I don't know what his rates might be. I know what some of the other big COMICSGATE guys' rates are a little bit, but I'm sure he'll work with you, and he just wants you to be successful.
yeah, that's
That's a great thing about him is he just, in a small way, I know the way he feels because anybody that I interact with in ComicsGate, you
yeah,
you can see when people sincere right away, and
mhm,
then you see like they're not just sincere on a Wednesday, like they show up every day
yeah,
and they're out there promoting each other people, they're promoting themselves, they're trying to put forward the best foot forward, their best work. They've been working on it for a long time, and they have expectations that Carlo Rowe is someone I've gotten to know better,
mhm,
who does Death Sworn, and he is just trying to do everything he possibly can to make his book great and deliver it. I had Iron Skies on the other
mhm,
night, Chris Rue,
yeah,
who also is like, well, my goal is I just want to show people what I can do and really deliver great work to them. And it's so diligent and so focused. And those kind of people, and you as well, are the kind of people that deserve and need that kind of support from us,
mhm,
and acknowledgement too, because it's difficult, obviously, making these books,
Oh yeah,
taking care of your customers, communicating with everybody, keeping everything on time, solving problems when they come up. As
yeah,
much as we all help each other, you're still,
yeah.
making this stuff on your own.
Exactly. And until until you launch a campaign, you really have no idea, like how
Yeah,
much time,
it could be a lot of pressure and very time consuming, and
the stress, yeah, all of it is just it's a lot to handle. And
yeah,
I'm just really thankful for the people that came out and helped me. And I'm very thankful for Dave because he's just been awesome through all this. And
very cool.
yeah, it's great to have him. And then our buddy Rare Logic, they help out a lot. And
Oh, cool.
yeah, and a lot of people have stepped up and help.
Yeah, hey, we all want to see everybody else succeed,
Hmm.
and then eventually, if you look at it, it's like the more of us that succeed, the better it is for all of us too. So
Yeah,
we make the
definitely.
magic happen.
Hmm.
So you have a book and a sketch. So you're giving original artwork. I'm always blown away, in ComicsGate at least, when people say they're doing sketches.
Yeah,
It's not just like I'm thinking remarked or some like really small little,
yeah.
you know, trading card kind of deal. But
Mhm.
but what is this? How big is the sketch?
The sketch here would be was it about the size of the book. Um,
Cool, like a backing board
yeah,
size.
basically. And but then I also did sketches to help promote and stuff like that. So with my
Cool.
campaign, I would do things where if we were a couple hundred from 1,000 mark or something. So say we're approaching 5K, and we're at you know 4,500 or something. I'd say, okay, from this point today, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till 5 p.m. tomorrow, um, anyone that backs will be put into a lottery, basically. And if your name gets picked, you get to direct a sketch. So I did that a couple times, and it really helped push things. It got people excited, and
Mm.
when I selected the winner, I send them an email, and I'm like, "Tell me what you want." And so, like, one of them was like they wanted a mix between Casey Jones, which is a
Oh yeah, I saw that piece of art you did, Casey Jones and your character, right?
yeah, and so I
That
did
was
like a a mashup piece of that, and then I've done some traditional sketches that I would post up, and I'd say, uh, next backer, wins this, and then
yeah.
it pushes people to back, and it also pushes people to retweet the art and get the work out there, and uh, and then I also have the 3D sculptures that I do, and I use those a lot as as raffle gifts, basically. Like, you know, if if someone does a large backs a large tier, their name will be put in or their number will be put in 3 or 4 times, and you know, and we do it like that. But I always keep it at the physical, like it has to be a physical copy or better to
Hmm.
be up for anything like that because with
Yeah,
shipping.
it keeps it fair. Yeah, and yeah, it's got to be reasonable. So this is if someone wants to just straight out buy the book and a sketch though, which in the sketch will be like comic book size.
Mhm.
That one's $70.
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
and it's a lot of work. Like the sketches are a lot of work. So
Oh yeah. No, it's worth it. Well worth it.
mhm.
Well worth it. Original art. Oh wow. Original art of Oddity. So you get no, we're not tearing pages out of your book. They're getting issue one standard cover, Oddity pinup poster, standard cover. Is that another cover? Or
Issue.
did you repeat that?
Dave wrote that in there. Dave, what are you talking about here?
All right. The standard cover was already included. It was just a duplicate. So one page from the book. So you get to now. How do you select? Okay, Sweens is going to pick
Yeah.
10 pages that he will pencil and ink traditionally,
Hmm.
and he's offering those pages. So basically, it's a Sween selection.
Yeah.
You're going to select the page that they're going to get. Okay, it's very cool.
Yep.
I'm all in the ace tier.
Yeah. I mean, that's everything. And if you're going to sit there and throw everything out there, you might as well put the price at what it should be. And
Yeah, yeah.
so we did large, we weren't, we didn't hesitate on putting in expensive tiers or anything like that.
Cool.
So
Yeah, well, it's whatever people. Oh, this is cool. Be
yeah,
in the book. No
mhm,
wonder it's sold out,
yeah,
guys. It got sold out. Sorry, you got to be quicker on the draw. You look out for Oddity 2 on that one, that
mm,
book 2. So this was to be in the book was $100, totally sold out. That's
yeah,
very cool.
and that's that includes you know the book and all that. And then the original cover actually it went pretty quick. And what this is this was done digitally. Like I inked this digitally, but to do a traditional ink piece, pros do this as well. You can print this out in blue line, like your actual drawing, and then you can go over it in ink, and then that's what will finally be used as the cover. So, um, yeah.
So if you want, it was interesting because I was speaking with Preston Acevedo the other night too, and he told me something similar.
Mhm,
He was saying that when he works with his inker, he does a traditional pencil, scans it, sends the scanned pencil to the inker.
mhm,
The inker prints it, I think, on a blue line also,
mhm.
but I know prints it on Bristol,
Yeah,
and then he goes and inks
yep,
that, so they both wind up with original
original
art.
art, yeah. Mhm.
So you can work from an a digitally inked finished page,
Yeah,
print it onto
crystal board.
a blue line,
Yeah, you print it out in blue line.
but you scan it when it's penciled first, right?
Do I scan it when it's this there was no original pencils for this at all.
Ah, so this is a finished digital image.
Yeah, and then what I'll do is ink it traditionally and then use that traditionally inked piece as the actual cover. Like,
Well, it looks like someone was very happy to buy it.
yeah, they jumped on it rather
You know
quick.
what? I'm asking because I find it interesting, but I'm also asking for me because of College of the Dead,
Yeah,
because it just so happens that everybody loves this piece.
uh-huh,
We've gotten rave reviews over it.
yeah,
This was all done digitally.
mhm,
So
and
to create an original of this piece, of course, tell people the provenance of it. They should know how it existed.
mhm,
But we print the high res of this. What would you do it on? Blue line
yeah,
or
you'd you'd put it in blue line, you just make it very, very light, and then you would ink over that, and, yeah, you could I mean, since there's a lot of, like, it's not you see how there's a lot of gradients and there's a lot of, like,
yeah?
textures in there and stuff. That could be a little hard to duplicate, but you could get it pretty close. And
Hmm.
yeah, so you could do it traditionally and get it
Wow.
close, but yeah, it'd be a little more difficult than, like, a real, like, clean line drawing, um,
Yeah.
because that's easy to you just trace over those lines, but
But the shading, if we had added the shading digitally, maybe it's even on a layer somehow.
mhm,
I
yeah,
don't know how he did it. I have to ask him. But if he did it on a layer, then the line art would already exist,
yeah, yeah, so
and then so you could print it from the line art, hopefully without the shading in it, and then you know you ink the blue line. As long as it looks beautiful,
yeah,
everybody's happy.
exactly, and you
Just
could
has to be beautiful.
you could get it pretty
See
good.
how much I learned from my ComicsGate buddies.
There you go.
I learn a lot from
Uh-huh,
my ComicsGate
yeah.
buddies.
Now that one print down below, that's from one of my buddies, if you saw the
Oh yeah, Matt Houston
Matt
or
Houston, yeah,
Houston.
yeah,
That's
he
really wild. I almost used that image as the promo image for the show.
yeah,
I didn't realize it was another artist. I mean,
yeah,
he has a very different style, but it's so weird and cool.
yeah, he's a great artist, man. I actually went to school with him here in Columbus, and, then he moved out to LA. He did work for, Cartoon Network, and,
Mm,
he was one of the artists for, Adventure Time, and did a bunch of designs for them and
wow.
did a lot of background. work for him as well, and he's a great artist. And yeah, I sent him a message one day. I was like, Would you be interested in doing a pinup?" And he just responded, "Absolutely." And then
Oh, that's so cool.
the next day, he's like, "How's this?" And he sends me this, and I was like, "That's absolutely awesome." I love it because it's so different from my style. Like,
It's very different, but it's the same
uh,
character. But it's awesome to see what other people get to do with your
yeah,
characters. And
I love to see other artists take on the character, and it's also cool to see people try to duplicate my work. Like, that's cool and all, but I really enjoy seeing people do their own take on it. Like,
and in this case, like he had his own idea about him using his tongue to get a beer. Was that his idea?
yeah,
That's cool.
like, yeah, he's a great artist though, so I was really excited to have him jump on board, and
I can definitely see why.
yeah,
You're a terrific guest. You're really interesting to talk to. I think you got a great first project here. I think it's great you managed to hook up with EVS right away on working on this.
yeah,
And I know he's super, super crazy busy always, but you will definitely, he always delivers. You'll definitely get your cover. And people should really back this book. This is going to be a great book. Full color, 48 pages. Just looks like an incredible amount of fun. Just the coloring of this one page. You're working at this level on every page.
uh, pretty much, yeah. Every page,
Fantastic.
every page I do, like, this is an extension of me. Like, this is someone posted this earlier today. Like, your name is your branding, is your brand with comics.
Yeah, it was Peter.
Yeah,
Peter Cimeti.
exactly. And like, this is, my name's attached to this stuff, and I want it to be the best I can do. Now, regardless of how good I do it right now, hopefully in 5 years I can't look at it, because that's a good sign of growth.
We just keep getting better and better and better for
Um,
sure.
but
But what a great first published project. And I'm very happy for you, man. It looks like great, great work.
thank
It's going to be a lot of fun. The campaign's going to do really well. You'll see if you want to stay and in demand or whatnot. Just you'll see when as the campaign ends what you want to do.
yeah,
But I'm really happy you made your goal. The book is definitely getting done. You're shipping March 2020 is the plan, right?
yeah, correct.
Awesome. Very awesome. All right. I wanna thank everybody in the chat. Joe Frago, it's always great to see you. Carl, thank you for he's funny. Carl is
That's
great.
great.
Carl O'Rowe. I'm glad I've gotten closer to the man of death sworn.
Yeah,
He's good people, very good people. Rare Logic is popping on a lot. Rare Logic is very cool.
mhm,
Long Box Diving is a regular. Love to see you there. Long Box and Long Box Diving has a YouTube channel as well. You guys should probably check out. Um, Edward Martin is always great to see. More Long Box. Michael Beacon, who has another project called Seven Legions. He was on the other night. If anybody hasn't seen that, you should go check that out. The interview we did together, he has some really, really interesting, beautiful work, and he's a hell of a colorist too.
mhm,
I always love great colorists, such as there's like an extra layer of magic that you guys add.
yeah,
Rusty, I don't know what the first part of Rusty's name is, but one day I will find out. Indy Dave, we'll have to talk to you one of these days too. But I wanted to really just focus, if I could, on you, Sweens. I'm glad we did because you really had a lot to say, and it's great to focus on you on a one-on-one person. Like your history is very interesting. The point where you're saying like, well, I didn't do anything interesting. All I was doing is working on animatronic monster. Like, come on. What else are you supposed to do? Be a freaking astronaut? What else is more interesting? Zate Comics has Magic Hop, very, very cool COMICSGATE project. Everybody loves an 80s Miami Vice fantasy world,
mhm,
if you can believe it. Logical Gamer, thank you for the acknowledgement about me putting in all the COMICSGATE work night after night,
yeah,
because I am trying to do a show every day if I can. Sometimes we stick one in the day. Matt Wanger, hey yo, Matt's very generous to have me on his channel. He's a lot of fun. I can only do certain fun things on Matt Wanger's channel because it's Wanger, and I don't know. He's just great. He's awesome, and he looks great in a wig. If you haven't
yeah,
seen yet, it's true. It's true. Oh, Peter Chernin. Sorry I missed you. Peter is a good regular. He's a lot of fun. And here you go. Sweens, you're welcome to come on as well. So you got to get on the Wang show.
I
Um,
I love me some Wang, man.
yeah, you got to jump on the Wanger. Ed Martin is great people. Just all you guys are great people. You're all really appreciated. Thank you so much for putting the time in to listen to us. And Shinto Ketchup is great people. Shinto is everywhere, but always makes a point to be here, and I appreciate that. Um, guys, back Oddity if you haven't already, and share it as well. Let's give them an extra push these last 4 days and show them what COMICSGATE is all about and what we can do. I know we're gonna whatever we put into this guy, we're gonna get back 10 times. So it's well worth it to support guys like Oddity, and of course, it's also well worth it to support guys like me. So make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Make sure you click the bell for notifications. We're gonna have more great creators on like Sweens, and my project as well, College of the Dead, is just about ready to get printed. Everything is finished. I'm looking at one set of proofs tomorrow and another set of proofs on Tuesday. I've tried a few different little paper variations, other cool little wacky modifications that are no one's ever going to notice a difference of, but to me it's important. And it's my 140-page zombie apocalypse graphic novel. All the art is done by the amazing Javier Aranda, and you can even see sequential art for it in the Indiegogo listing, because the whole damn book was done. So we put in 12 pages of it. It's just very cool. You'll be able to follow the story and kind of see what it's all about. And there's links to Oddity's campaign in the description, and there's also links to College of the Dead in the description. And again, guys, thank you so much for supporting us so much. We're going to see you again very, very soon with another incredible interview. Have a great night, and thank you again so much, Sweens. It's great having you on, man.
Thank you for having me on. It was great talking to you, Adam.
You are very, very welcome.
All right, take it easy, guys.
See you soon, guys.